Welcome back to the Form First podcast. You are joined by your hosts, Sam and Ben, for episode 19. And before we get into this podcast, if you are watching this on Spotify or YouTube, check out our shirts.
Yeah.
Form First.
Yeah. It took me long enough.
Yeah, if you would like one, maybe send us a DM.
Yeah.
We're not
Let us
selling
know.
them,
Nah.
but for our special listeners, if you send us a DM, we'll make something happen for you
Yeah,
guys.
absolutely. Might take 6 months, but
I'm just putting Ben on the spot
Yeah,
here
yeah.
because he's the one that organised it and I haven't discussed this with him at all. But hey, I want to look after our loyal listeners.
yeah.
And, you know, if we've got some merch dropping, we'll see how we go.
Let us know.
Yeah.
Whatever colour you want within reason. Just look on Uniqlo's website.
Yeah, the Uniqlo, the heavy, oversized tees, they are super duper comfortable.
Yeah.
And we just got a nice Form First printed, nothing on the back. Just
Boxy fit, breathable.
very simple. Mate, we've talked in depth about motivation and discipline in past episodes, which are both very vital parts of your fitness journey, both training and nutrition to reach your goals. But we haven't really spoken about obsession before. And I think when we talk about obsession, I think people look at it as a bad way. You know, you be like, oh, you're obsessed with the gym in a bad way, or you're obsessed with your nutrition. Like all you do is train, all you do is track your food. You don't have anything outside of, you know, your meal plan. And I think, yes, there can be bad obsessions. I think you can take it too far and you can, you know, create bad habits with like eating disorders and negative body image by being too obsessed with something.
Yeah.
But I want to talk about my experience with obsession because when I got into the gym, you know, talking like properly 2014, it took a lot of motivation for me to initially sign up to a gym. You know, back in the day, I went into a Good Life with my housemate Scotty, and this was 2013, and we did a trial. We got a week trial, and I walked in
nice.
there, and we did one session, and I walked straight back out and never went back in.
Yeah, right.
I was so intimidated. Everyone was so big, but it took a lot of motivation for me to actually do that trial initially. But then it took even more motivation to actually sign up to a gym later on, which was probably about 12 months later.
Yeah, right.
Then to actually stick to a plan, it took discipline.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know how it is. You know, everyone can get started, but that motivation dissipates as the months go on.
100%.
And then you need the discipline to stay on track.
Yep.
But then when you've got a really specific goal in mind, for me, that was, you know, I'd been training for three years at the time, coming up 4 years. And then I said, I want to compete. I want to get up on a bodybuilding stage. Now, that's motivation as well.
Yeah.
That took discipline. But what it took the most personally was obsession.
Yeah.
I was obsessed with getting up on that stage, winning a little plastic trophy, and being the most shredded human being I could possibly be. And I don't think that motivation and discipline would get you there alone. I think you have to be obsessed with bodybuilding and the process in achieving such a difficult goal.
Do you think you have to have obviously bits of all three, but obsession is like a non-negotiable with, you know, hitting those goals? Like you said, like eventually maybe there are times with bodybuilding prep for the people that have done that before where motivation would most certainly dip because your nutrition is so up and down. And that has a lot to do with motivation and energy levels and different things like that. And discipline is obviously part of your obsession.
Yeah.
So I guess obsession kind of umbrellas it all together.
They tie in together.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Look, I think that not everyone needs to be obsessed with the whole process. I think the larger your goal is, the more obsessed you need to be to achieve that said goal.
Yeah.
Right?
All the more difficult.
Yeah. So, you know, I'm talking about jumping up on a bodybuilding stage, competing at a really high level getting to the Olympics. Like, do you think
Yeah.
those
Oh,
guys didn't have obsession? Like, they're absolutely obsessed with their chosen sport. But I'm also talking about someone that needs to lose 50 kilos
Yeah.
so that they can, be a good mum or dad or fit into their wedding dress or or wedding suit. You kind of have to be obsessed with that goal to then achieve such a big goal ahead.
Yeah, and you don't have to play a sport, you don't have to be an elite athlete for it to be okay or for it to be socially acceptable to be obsessed with something. Like, people will be like, "Oh, this guy takes it so seriously. What do you think you are? Like, do you think you're Arnie?" And all that type of stuff. Like, yeah, fuck it. If I want to think I'm Arnie, if that's going to get me through this workout session, if I need to use Arnie as my motivation for that day, then sure. Like, and that's how people train. Like, I play not the highest level of soccer anymore, and you'd think when I first started out, I was like, oh, everyone, they're all tryhards, they're all this, they're all that, but you still really care about it, and you still really want to do as best you can, and the only way to do that is to take it that seriously. Otherwise, you're going to be like, oh, I've left too much on the table, I've left gains on the table, and I'm not getting anywhere closer to my goal.
Yeah, and I think it's really important for someone to find whatever that obsession might be for them. It could be the gym, or it could be training for an elite sport, or it could be just trying to learn a musical instrument.
Yeah.
Like, it's healthy to be obsessed with something because it makes you train really hard for that particular goal.
Yep.
And it makes you achieve amazing things.
Yeah, and you can be, like you were saying before, you can be obsessed with things that aren't lifelong. Like, let's say I'm obsessed with looking the best so I can get as many girls as possible. Like, most guys that have been in the gym have been that guy at one point or another. You can turn that into, for me, my initial motivator and maybe obsession was being comfortable to take my shirt off at the beach. That was a big one for me, even around the home. That obviously isn't lifelong. That's not a sustainable obsession because over time things change. It's now turned into, I just want to feel, I'm obsessed with feeling good, waking up, feeling not light, but feeling good, not bloated and sluggish and fatigued, waking up with energy every single day or as much as possible as I possibly can. Yeah. So I come into the gym and I eat well and I move to do those things. So that's, a current obsession of mine. And another one is chasing personal bests and that feeling of self-gratitude and the feeling of accomplishment. And that's all it takes. If I go up 2.5 kilos on my chest press and I smash out an extra rep or two, I'm fucking pumped.
Yeah, dude.
I'm so pumped. And it's like I've, won a gold medal. You know what I mean? So, there's sort of no limit to it. You just got to make sure you're obsessed with probably the right thing, if that makes sense, for your own life.
Yeah, yep. And those obsessions change over time,
and that's
from
okay.
2017 to 2020, I did 8 bodybuilding shows. And you can tell that was my obsession for that period of time.
Yeah.
Now, since 2020, I have not competed. It's currently 2026 now, so I haven't competed in coming up to 6 years. But my obsession has changed. If I'm just talking about my health and fitness related goals, my obsession now is to live the healthiest, longest life that I possibly can.
Yeah.
And that's my obsession. And I still live by that. There's still many aspects of bodybuilding, like competing, that I take into my life now. There's some things that I definitely don't do anymore.
Yeah.
But, I think it's really important because, I religiously, hit my protein goal. I eat my fruit and veg every day. I hit my fiber goal. I don't actually physically track my calories anymore, but I know that I hit these targets because of what I did in the past, my nutrition literacy. And if I don't hit my goals, like if I don't eat my fruit or veg, or if I don't hit my protein, you best believe before I go to bed, I'm smashing a protein shake and eating a carrot. Like legit, I will.
Go on rabbit mode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I know, I'm like, I feel guilty if I don't do it. I'm like, hey, I didn't hit my protein or my veg goal today.
Yeah.
This is going to negatively impact my health. Therefore, I'm going to quickly smash it.
Yeah, and how you talk to yourself and how you feel about yourself when you, for me, how you feel about yourself when you maybe don't achieve your list of goals for the day that relate to your obsession or relate to your end goal. I think you may know whether it's a healthy obsession or not, depending on the self-talk, depending on what type of guilt it is. I think there's different types of obsessions, different types of guilt. The self-talk, for me personally has changed quite a lot since my obsession has changed.
Yep.
Where it, used to be, pardon my French, but it's like, you're a fat piece of shit, all that type of stuff. And you say those things to yourself and you just give up. You're just like, oh, may as well give up. May as well throw the day away, throw the week away, throw the month away, whatever it might be. And then it sort of changes into, you can do better. And you don't swear as much. You don't call yourself certain things and that type of stuff. So changing your mindset around different things when you're not hitting your goal. And if you can't get your protein shake in, you start to realize that, it's one day out of however many days, however many years.
Yep.
But yeah, definitely changing your mindset along with that type of stuff. So it's a good, feeling guilty in certain ways is okay.
Yeah.
I guess is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, yep. To an extent.
Yeah, for sure. And it's totally fine to have obsessions. They're good obsessions.
Yeah. Control your guilt. Guilt can be a good motivator.
Yes.
But it can also be your downfall, so control it.
So my favorite podcaster, Chris Williams, hosts Modern Wisdom. Great podcast. I'd highly recommend you guys checking it out. It's on Spotify, YouTube. A lot of personal development stuff there from fitness and general health.
Yep.
He has a quote that he brings up all the time, and it is model the rise, not the result. And he talks about it from like a business, but also like a work-life balance standpoint. Yep. So if you see someone successful and they've got the house and they got the car and they got the kids and they got this awesome work-life balance that's perfect, and you're sitting there like, that's what I want to achieve, and you're trying to model that whilst building the business and looking after your health, it's probably not going to work because that individual typically had a very poor work-life balance to build themselves up to where they're at now.
Yeah.
Right? So that's where you need to model what they did in the lead up, not what they've got right now.
Yeah.
And this comes back to a health and fitness standpoint.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you see someone in the gym and you look at their physique and you go like, wow, like look at their physique, like they look amazing. And, they might be training maybe 2-3 times a week now.
2 working sets.
2 working sets. They don't track their nutrition.
Yeah.
Like this is me now.
Yeah.
Like I'm talking about, right? But I didn't do that to get where I'm at now, if that makes sense. Like I did more working sets. I was training 6 days a week. I was tracking my nutrition meticulously for over 10 years to get to a position now. But now I can have more of a balance with my training and nutrition and not be as meticulous and still maintain all of my progress. Yep. And because I've built so much muscle and my body fat is low, I can stay in great nick all year round.
Yeah.
But if someone's starting out the gym just now, looks at me and goes like, I want to achieve that, and you're doing like pretty much not too much to maintain that, and they're trying to model it, well, they're not going to get the same results.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's like some people, I guess, don't know what they're asking when they come up to someone who's super successful, whether that's in life or in the gym. And let's say for a gym's perspective, if someone was to come up and ask you and you didn't know what you were supposed to answer, because somebody says, oh, Sam, what do you do, man? You look great. Your back's huge, all this type of stuff. And you're like, oh, I train 2-3 times a week, don't really count my calories. You know, I just watch my portions and all this stuff. I'm like, yeah, all right, I'll give that a crack. And it just takes them, you know, they're not seeing the results as quickly as they want, or they're not even remotely close after a couple of months or 6 months or whatever it might be. And they're kind of like, oh, this dickhead was lying to me, or like, you know, he must be a genetic freak.
Yeah.
So all that type of stuff. So if you're someone that gets asked that question, if you feel like you've been asked that question more than once, you maybe start rephrasing their question for them in a sense.
So rephrasing the question more so, what do you do now to have achieved your physique? Rephrase it to, what did you do in the past to get you to where you're at now?
Yeah, exactly right. And that's, you know, like Sam said, that goes with anything. But, you know, for a fitness journey, it's never, ever smooth sailing. And I guarantee it wasn't like that for you. Like, that's what you've already said. And even now, like, I guess some of my mates or like some of my clients or whatever that is, they're like, oh, you know, I'm nowhere near. Well, I wouldn't say I'm nowhere near my goals. I wouldn't say I'm that far off. But, you know, it's taken me, oh my God, such a long time from actually being serious about being fit to really understand that you have to start out quite meticulous, like you were saying, and disciplined and obsessed, like we were talking about earlier, to not only continue to rock up to the gym, continue to eat well, but to learn about it and to sort of get your results that way as well. So, you know, I was training sort of 5 days a week, 3 working sets, really strict on my calories. You know, went down to 1,700 calories before this Christmas, which we'll talk about a little bit later in the podcast. But, you know, now I'm getting to the stage where, you know, I'm training 4 days a week, and I've included other things into my fitness regime, like I've started to run a bit more, or I play more soccer or whatever it is, so I can get more enjoyment out of it and still sort of maintain the current results, set myself up to go into another phase of building muscle.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's just about learning to me.
Yeah. Another good way to look at it, like when I first started in the gym and I was pushing, you know, 15, 20 kilo dumbbells on chest press, and you look at these guys walk in and they're pushing like 40s and 50 kilos, and you just like can't fathom pushing that amount of weight. And then you're like, how did you know, get that strong? And they're like, oh, well, I've been training for, you know, 5-10 years to get to this. And, you know, when I started on those 15 kilo dumbbells too, you know, so we all start at, you know, a very similar starting point. You know, another saying is like not comparing your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 10.
Yeah.
So we all write our own books, and we're all on our own journey, our own path. So, you know, don't compare yourself.
Yeah. And I'd say a big thing, you know, for you, let's say someone is looking at getting to where you are in terms of not tracking all that type of stuff that we've already mentioned. You know, I feel like one thing most people would harp on when they're in that position is how they were consistent.
Yeah.
It's about consistency.
Yep.
Like I started training with you a year and a half ago. And, you know, I was probably pushing maybe the 25 kilo dumbbells, and through consistency and just like this relentless pursuit of the next thing, I've worked my way up to 40s now. And I'm not saying that to brag, because I still, you know, I've got a mate who, you know, doesn't train as consistently as me or whatever. And, you know, he's repping 40s for fucking 10 reps. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I just sort of compare me to me. At the end of the day, and just stick to the consistency, and the results come. We're going to talk about some good tips that you guys can use along the way of your journey from chapter 1 to chapter 10. And we're going to talk about some fat loss tips, or more so nutrition swaps for the beginners and beginner intermediates that are getting into it. So we'll keep it really simple, really entry-level things that can help you set up success for your body goals.
Yeah, sounds good. First one, super simple, is swapping free pouring oil. So like, you know, your olive oils or whatever oil you use, swapping that out for the spray version.
Yep. Typically,
if you free pour out the bottle, you're going to use a lot more Like it's very
Looks
easy.
good coming out the bottle.
Yeah, free pour, like it's easy to do like 15, 20 mils, and there's like so many calories in that. Whereas if you use the spray, you can cover a larger surface area with less calories.
Yeah, a lot less actual oil. And if you're against aerosols and all that type of stuff, and your nutritionist told you to stop using cans, use a tablespoon, something like that. Use the little measure, 5 to 10 mils. Be smart about it.
Yep, teaspoon instead of tablespoon.
Teaspoon instead of tablespoon.
And just use like a non-stick pan as well helps.
Yeah. Don't need to use oil.
Yeah, that's it. You could, if you really wanted to, you could do like a cooking brush and brush it on the pan. But I think we're getting into it a little bit too deep now. So just use the spray.
Yeah, just use the spray. You'll be fine.
The next one is swapping out your sugary drinks, soft drinks, cordials for the sugar-free variations.
Mm-hmm.
Very simple. I remember when I was working with a client back circa 2014 and great guy, used to chow down a couple 2-litre bottles of Coke, full sugar per day.
Nice.
And without changing anything else, just cutting out the 2 Cokes, like, what was that, 4 litres of Coke per day, he dropped 15 kilos.
4 litres of Coke a day. People struggle to drink 2 litres of water a day.
I know. I was like, dude,
are you drinking water?
I'm impressed. No, he didn't. That was his water intake. Yeah. So like,
good.
Obviously he trained as well. Like that was a big lifestyle change, started to walk more, but we didn't really change much with his nutrition habits until later on. But he dropped so much because there are so many calories in that. And then he just started drinking Coke no sugar.
Yeah. And
he's like, oh yeah, I don't actually hate the taste of this.
Yeah. I've completely switched. I don't know if this is healthy or not. I can't drink full sugar drinks anymore. Like it's just too much. It's completely switched. And, you know, obviously this doesn't mean you can go and drink 4 litres of Coke no sugar every day. There are other...
It'd probably ruin your stomach.
Yeah. Really, it'd really fuck with you, and probably not great for your oral health either. So...
No.
Yeah. So just swapping out those types of things. Try carbonated water with a bit of sugar-free cordial.
Yeah. Yep.
So those are some easy swaps.
Swapping your full cream milk to skim milk or almond milk or milk alternative.
Yep.
Typically lower in calories. There are some high calorie ones like oat milk, rice milk. They are typically a little bit higher in carbohydrates and fats, probably pretty similar to full cream milk. Yep. So just have a look on the nutrition label. But if you are someone that, you know, loves a coffee or likes milk in their protein shake, just look for the lower calorie option. Like I think skim milk versus full cream is like almost half the calories. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you like it in your smoothie as well, combine it with some water.
Yeah.
Chuck some water in as well just to make up that liquid volume.
Yeah. Yep. Typically, if you are having a protein shake and it is like a whey or an isolate, like it's a milk-based product.
Yeah.
So you add it with water, it tastes milky anyway.
Yeah.
You can't, if you're dieting, you can't really tell the difference.
Nah.
Yeah. But almond milk's pretty good. Like unsweetened almond milk's like 40 calories per 250 mils.
It's fine. It's quite a neutral taste.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not going to overtake your coffee like soy milk does.
Yeah.
But if you're a soy lover, go for it.
Not my cup of tea.
Yeah, neither. Yeah, good one.
The next one is swapping out your full fat meats. So like your 3-star beef mince or like chicken thighs, or like your pork mince for like an extra lean variants. So using like chicken breasts with the skin off, or using the 5-star extra lean beef mince, turkey breast, that sort of thing. Just very easily cutting out, again, probably half the calories, because it just takes the fat portion out of it. We are saying this from a fat loss perspective for all these as well, just to premise that if you are like in a build phase, like it might actually be good for you to go for the higher fat
hit
version.
some good fats.
Yeah, to get your fats up. But I think it obviously doesn't taste as good as the full fat version
No.
because it's a little bit drier.
Yep.
But you just have to cook it well. Like, don't overcook chicken breast or extra lean beef mince because it can go dry.
Yep.
Season it well.
Yep.
Super
Yeah, and you
important.
can use wet ingredients as well. Obviously, with chicken, let's give them a few tips, I think, about even cooking your chicken and stuff, because obviously people can make that quite boring if you just have it with rice and broccoli. That's the classic. For instance, I will, cook chicken in a brine of, I don't know what it might be, canned tomatoes or chicken stock is a huge one.
Yep.
Same with beef. I love canned tomatoes. They honestly can, and a little bit of water, and you've got a saucy dish.
Yep.
Easy as that. Plenty of good videos on the TikToks.
Yeah, slow cookers are awesome.
Slow cookers as well.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Great for like your chicken breast, pulls apart, like just perfect. But yeah, with your beef mince, like if you are seasoning it, chuck a little bit of water in, like you said, because it won't dry out as much. Yeah, we have tacos pretty well, or like burrito bowls religiously, once a week, and you put the El Paso taco seasoning in there, bit of water, black beans, corn, mix that up, and it just
slaps every time.
Perfect. Heat it up the next day, it's perfect. Like it doesn't dry out, it's good.
Started chucking OXO cubes in, like beef stock.
Oh, nice.
OXO cubes just intensifies the flavour. Put a bit of water in with that because you're supposed to.
Yeah.
It's great.
Awesome.
Banger. And even for you bacon lovers, let's go for shortcut.
Shortcut bacon.
Over Rashers.
Yes.
Rashers is pure fat. Tasty as.
Yes.
Fucking so tasty.
Delicious.
But yeah.
No, well said, mate. Meal prepping over takeaway.
Yeah.
Very simple.
Yeah.
Like just be accountable for the week ahead. Do a meal prep over the weekend, Saturday or Sunday, and do a meal prep for the entire week, or do it for a few days and then meal prep again midweek for the remainder of the week.
Yep. And be careful of if you do end up getting takeout, be careful of the places that put their nutritional info on. It's great that they do. Sometimes they're wrong. Grilled just had to update theirs. I love Grilled. Get it all the time. They just updated theirs and it was pretty significant changes. So when you cook at home, you can control the calories.
Yeah.
Perfectly.
Well, these restaurants, they're not sitting out the back with food scales weighing out your chicken and the bun and the amount of cheese that they put on and, the sauces that they use. Have you ever been to Subway and you go, can I just have a little bit of sauce? That's not a little bit. That's the entire bottle. That's like, I'm just looking at it like there's like 50 grams of fat just in that sauce alone, So, yes, it's like you said, it's good that they've got it, but nutrition labels can have a variance of up to 30% for packaged goods, and I assume it would be the same for restaurants as well.
Yeah.
Restaurants probably would be
It's
wildly
even worse.
out because, there's variation, whereas in like a factory with packaged goods, there's some quality control. And the last one is eating until you're satisfied, not full.
Amen. Leave some room in the tank.
Yeah. Very simple. And that takes time to learn how to stop, because it's hard to know when you're satisfied or full, especially when you're dieting.
Yeah. It's hard to know as well. Like if I, for a personal example, I'll be super hungry at the end of the day if I'm having a late dinner and, you eat your food really fast and you still feel hungry until you let it sort of settle. You're like, oh shit, now I'm like ready to explode. I feel like shit. I don't want to move now. So yeah, definitely be careful of that. And I might just add one on. We started talking about sauce.
Yes.
Condiments. Careful of the condiments.
Yes. Good call.
So you've got a lot of very popular condiments that are mayo based. Mayo is pure fat. Good fats, if it's a good mayo. It's eggs and olive oil, typically. Some of them are shit. So if you're going to get mayo and you want to be careful of, different oils and stuff like that, read the food label. But yeah, be careful. Good ones are, for me, barbecue sauce.
Yep.
It's a good one. Nando's Peronaise is good.
Yep.
Obviously, you can't. That doesn't mean use half the fucking bottle, but yeah, you need to be careful of the condiments.
Yeah. Praise and Kewpie do a low-fat version as well.
Kewpie's banging. So good.
And they taste, to me, very similar.
Yeah.
Like I can't really tell the difference between the two. Not that I have full fat mayo pretty much ever, unless it's out like in a sandwich or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's a great alternative, and just check out the nutrition label. In particular, with the sauces, it's the fats that get you. With the marinades for your meats, it's the carbs, it's the sugars. So just double check on those to make sure that you're not overshooting them.
Yeah, and it sounds really complicated. If you've got a blender, you can make your own sauce.
Yeah.
I make my own tzatziki. You know, you can make your own chipotle sauce because people make it out of, there's a worldwide yogurt and cottage cheese fucking shortage now. But I've made great sauces out of Greek yogurt. It's quite a neutral flavor. You can throw in whatever you want. Play around with it. Have a bit of fun. Whatever sauce you want to make.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're not saying don't have mayo. We're not saying don't have whatever sauce you want. We're saying be careful.
Yeah. Something that I've recently started doing is making my own stir fry sauce.
Yeah.
I was like, the ones that you get in the shops, like I was getting pretty bad like stomach aches afterwards. So I just didn't feel very good. So I was like, I'm going to go make my own, and got some like oyster sauce, some hoisin, some rice wine
oil,
vinegar,
blah, blah,
sesame, chili oil, all that stuff, mix it together. So much cleaner, lower calorie than the packaged good as well, way less sugar, and it tastes significantly better. And I don't feel like shit after.
Yeah, game changer, right?
Yeah.
On the topic of fat loss tips, this can be a whole tip in itself, is obviously the stigma and fear around carbs and fats. Two very important macronutrients for a whole bunch of different things other than performance in the gym. Obviously, would you say fats or carbs is more feared? Would you say fats?
I would say
It's tough.
carbs by a smidge, probably 60-40 split, I
Yeah.
would say. Like I see a trend when people jump on a consult with me and they're like, oh, I just eat too many carbs. Like it's never I eat too many fats. It's always I eat too many carbs. Carbs are the devil, but in reality, you do like a nutrition recall with them, and all of the high carb foods that they're eating are also high fat as well.
Yeah.
Low protein. So they're very dense base foods, very calorie dense.
Yeah. Yeah. And, things like that, high carb, high fat can sit quite a bit in your stomach. And like if it's higher in fats, it generally slows down your digestion, things like that. And it just sort of sits there, makes you feel sluggish, makes you feel a bit bloated and shitty. And that obviously depends on the type of carb you're eating. Things like bread and stuff like that, it's a bit higher in fiber also might sit there a bit. But a lot of people, I don't think, realise that fruits count.
Yeah.
As well.
Fruits are carbs.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I remember the moment when, I was early on in my training and I looked at the calories. I just started tracking calories, and I tracked a banana, and I was like, what do you mean the banana doesn't have any protein in it? It just has carbs. Should I be eating this?
Yeah.
But we need carbohydrates, in particular fruits, for fast-acting carbohydrates around your training. Fruits are also packed with
vitamins, minerals,
loads of nutrients,
everything,
and fiber as well.
Yeah,
which we need for healthy digestion.
Yeah, absolutely. I think people are so scared of bananas. Bananas like the devil fruit, apparently.
Unless you're like a sporting person, then they are your best friend.
A godsend.
Yeah. Carbs and potassium.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah,
and different fruits have different effects, and obviously the same with carbs. And I mean, I don't think the one thing I was always scared of was actually fats. I don't think I ever went through that phase.
Yep.
In terms of carbs, I have been for a while quite physically active, so I heavily rely on my carbohydrates, my rice and my oats and my potato. I absolutely love the stuff. But yeah, I think fats has been a difficult one for me to grasp, and obviously just the word.
Yeah, well, a lot of people, we've spoken about this before. A lot of people think about the macronutrient fat, and they think if I eat the fats as a macronutrient, that converts into fat in my body.
Yeah. Yeah. And I guess, like there is, I won't say some truth to it, but it is the most calorie dense macronutrient.
9 calories per gram for fats, 4 calories per gram for protein and carbs.
Yeah. So your fats compared to your protein and your carbs are going to be lower, but they are super, super important. Not only for energy and for just your normal sort of day-to-day fitness journey, but could you sort of list off some more things for our audience that fats are essential for?
Yeah, well, in terms of digestion, fats, like you mentioned, they slow down the rate of digestion. So when you're in a dieting phase, like it is essential to get a good amount of fats into your day because that'll make you feel full and satiated for longer. Fats are also responsible for a healthy hormone profile as well.
Yeah.
So especially for female
Big time.
lifters or just general day to day, like I aim for my female clients to hit around about 30% of their overall calories towards fats.
Fats, yeah.
And then for the male clients, because our hormones aren't as complicated, we can get away with being a little bit lower. So around that 20-25%. And we're better off to push a bit more towards our protein and carbohydrates for us guys. But it does vary as well, depending on what sort of lifestyle an individual lives as well. If you've got someone who lives a more sedentary lifestyle, their main fuel source during the day is going to be fats. So it's better off to put them at a higher fat intake for the day. Whereas if you've got a labor-intensive worker, maybe a tradie, brickie for an example, then their main fuel source throughout the day is going to be carbohydrates. So it's better to push more carbohydrates and go for a lower fat intake. So, it does vary, but there's a laundry list of benefits for fats as well.
Yeah. Could you also explain maybe why a sedentary worker or why the body would utilize fats over carbs in those scenarios?
Yeah, well, you think about it like in a training aspect, a labor-intensive job is going to require more calories, faster acting calories, because you're moving about more often, just like you would training, maybe doing weights. But then a sedentary worker sitting down and needs that slow acting energy, just like you would with low intensity steady state cardio, right? So that's why there is the split. The protein is still very similar in that aspect. The protein doesn't really change. So we want to aim for, like we've said, 2 to 2.2 times your body weight in kilos, ideally. However, you can go as low as 1.4 if the individual is a little bit overweight.
And for example, guys, if you're 90 kilos and a male and you're going for the 2 grams of protein per kilo of body weight, you're at 180 grams of protein for the day, just to break that down. I think a big lesson that I learnt was living with low fats versus living with adequate fats. The same with carbs. I feel like I'm unsure which one is more eye-opening. Whether it's carbs or living without fats, and it obviously depends male, female, and other life factors. But for me, I think I might have tried a low carb. I mean, I tried it recently when I was down to the 1,700 calories. I had to sacrifice carbohydrates for me to eat that certain amount. And holy shit, night and day, like just waking up, no matter how many hours of sleep I get, waking up tired, waking up zombie-like, motivation's low. You get to the gym and everything just feels so much heavier. And my fats were down as well, and my protein, everything was down for me to be able to eat that much. I'm obviously prioritizing protein and fiber, but just an absolute game changer. And then you got into the Christmas month there in December and started eating carbohydrates again, and not that it was the most targeted month of my life, and it's the same for a lot of people. But I came back after refueling myself. Not the best, but I was still having more carbohydrates, and came back and I was so much stronger.
Yeah.
And I'd trained maybe 2 weeks in December, came back with 2 weeks off and was easily lifting, harder. So I'm not sure what the same feeling is like for fats. I've never really,
Yeah, because it's more like hormonal and
I guess it's
hunger
not
based.
as
It's different.
relevant.
One thing for me when I was in comp prep, obviously my fats got dangerously low. Like I'm talking like 30 grams a day.
That's nuts.
Like very, very low. And I just didn't have a sex drive at all.
Yep.
Nothing
at
all. And that's not great.
No.
You need that because it's not just for the sex drive side of things. That's an indication that your hormones are out of whack.
Yeah, absolutely. And how old were you at the time?
26. Yeah. So should not have an issue there.
No, absolutely not. And and I guess you'll notice your moods.
Mm-hmm.
Like if let's say you're spending a lot of time, let's say for your partner at the time, if you're spending a lot of time with somebody who's, in body prep or avoiding fats or avoiding carbs, you notice the mood. You're like, ever since you've been cutting out fats, you've been a prick.
Yeah.
You've been an absolute asshole to be around. And being aware of that when I started my cut, I was aware of it. I felt more miserable, and I knew that I was more miserable to be around for my partner, for my family, for my friends. And being aware of it, you try your best.
Yeah.
You try your best to, put on a brave face, whatever it might be. It's so hard because you literally don't have the nutrients and the right fuel to have a good mood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
So don't be scared of it. That's what we're trying to say here is, don't be scared of it. And we're not saying, we're not saying to not try it. You guys make your own decisions. But I feel like you might be more aware of the effects that this stuff has. And if you do try and do a low fat or a low carb, you'll be like, oh shit.
I think the main takeaway is you need to try what split from a carbohydrate and a fat intake works for you.
Yeah.
What matters the most is your overall calories and your protein intake.
Yeah.
What ratio you do with your carbs and fats doesn't overly matter from a fat loss perspective because the calories will still be the same, but it can wildly change your mood and your hunger and your energy if you just manipulate your carbs and your fats a little bit as well, depending on your lifestyle and what you prefer. So I'm reading a book at the moment. It's called Die with Zero. And a key takeaway from the book so far is to invest into experiences because those experiences will pay memory dividends for the rest of your life.
Yeah, that's a belter.
Yeah.
It's a great quote.
Love that, right?
Yeah.
And I was thinking about it from a fitness-based perspective. And I looked at it as you should look at potentially investing into a coach because that will basically pay health dividends for the remainder of your life.
Yeah. And not any coach. Do your research. It has to be a good coach. Like when I invested in Sam. And if you invest in a good coach, you don't even think about the money.
No.
The takeaways are just for every aspect of your life, not even fitness related, is just so worth it. It's like going for a trip to Europe. Same thing. Invest in that experience because the memories you come away with are worth the money.
Yep.
It's the same thing.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I say this to clients all the time when we do jump on a consult. It's not like hey, I'm just going to coach you for 16 weeks. You're going to drop the 8 kilos and you're going to be ready for your wedding and see you later. It's more so like, hey, this is an educational process. You're going to learn about training, nutrition, macros, fat loss, the whole process of not only here's the work, but this is why we're doing it.
Yep.
So that after the 16 weeks, you're in a position that you can go off on your own and you can use those that education for the remainder of your life to positively impact your health long term.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'd say you'd have trained countless people for their memories, male or female. An example I have is I trained a client for their wedding last year, and he, had his wedding, had his honeymoon, and a lot of people that go to train for their wedding, they think that's it. Train for my wedding, look good, and then see you later. But if it's a good coach when they approach it differently, where they try and take the focus away from the wedding a little bit. And, obviously that's your main goal. That's fine. That's your motivation and that's your reason for being with this coach. But a good coach will try and be like, all right, sure, let's get you ready for the wedding. Let's focus on that. But let's just throw in little pennies here and there to keep you going.
Well, if your coach is already talking about, okay, and this is what's going to happen after the wedding. This is what happens in between the wedding and the honeymoon. And this is what happens when you get back from the honeymoon. Yeah. And it's not to extend the coaching experience out and trying to squeeze more money out of you. No. It's like that's the reversing process. And then you go, okay, then you're in a build phase. And then, this time next year, then you're going into another cut phase with an extra couple of kilos of lean muscle in the right spots.
Yeah.
And then you're going to look even better.
Yeah.
So it's, if the coach is already planning ahead and looking into the future, you've got a good coach on your hands.
Yeah, absolutely. And, the perfect example, this client had his honeymoon. He came back for a couple of weeks to try out maintenance. It's a scary thing when someone's been in a cut. They're like, oh, shit, my calories are going up. Am I going to be fat again? And, he came out of that, did really well, and then went away to Europe for 3 weeks. Put him in a good position there. And, in the rare case, he actually came back lighter.
Yeah.
And even, at that stage, if you come back lighter, you probably think, oh, I don't need to keep training. And he's jumped back on board because he sees the value in, now he's like, okay, I want to build more muscle, so let's get into a maintenance, let's potentially do a bulk.
Yep.
At the same rate, if you come back from holiday like me, who's stacked on 5 kilos, you're like, oh, shit, I have to do this all again. I'm starting from the start. You're not. You're not starting from the start because you've learnt so much. Yep. It's not just about the results you see with your body. It's about the results in your head. You're learning about it and being like, all right, now I start to understand it and now I feel more comfortable in the gym. Now I'm really going to get some fucking results because I can go away and not hassle my trainer because I've been educated properly.
Yeah. Yep. It's funny you mentioned that, like being scared of starting again, because in the book they actually mention about all these wealthy millionaire, billionaires. They're all so scared of losing their wealth and having to start again. But because they've accumulated so much knowledge and information, even if they started with $0, they'd never be starting from zero because you've got the knowledge.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And that's, same thing. And for them, that'd be part of their wealth. They'll get to that certain point where the money thing has been ticked off. They're cool. We were talking about Tony Robbins earlier.
Yeah.
He's ticked off the money thing and he's ticked off the accomplishment thing. And he's like, what else do I go for here?
Yeah.
Where else am I going to get fulfillment from? So, yeah, and that's exactly right. They could, some of those people could get rid of all their money and start with no money, but they've got so much knowledge that they could just get the money back. They know what they're doing.
Well, people do it.
Yeah.
Look on YouTube.
Right.
And there's ultra successful people and they go, well, I want to start again because climbing the hill was ultimately more fun than standing on top of the hill.
Big time. 100%. Not that you can do that not that that's advisable for a fitness journey.
No. Well, there's that documentary.
Oh my God. Supersize Me. Yeah.
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 So, yeah, he did it I don't know. Like I haven't watched it in a long time. I probably watched it like maybe 10, 15 years ago, maybe more. But like experimental process guy, fit guy, stopped training, started eating Maccas, and every time they said, "Would you like to supersize that?" Is that the McDonald's thing? That he would have to upgrade it, and he put on a crazy amount of weight, and then experimental process lost it all again.
Yeah.
Not obviously not a healthy process to do that, because there's been other people do that and pass away from doing this experience as well. There's a guy on Instagram who recently passed from doing this.
Trying to do that.
So not a good experimental process, but it goes to show that no matter what, you'll never be starting from zero because of the knowledge base that you've gained.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can use this as an example. Sam's been my trainer on and off for the past decade. And I never invested properly. I invested, but I didn't invest properly. I put the money in, and you know, a lot of people put the money in, and they're like, all right, everything's on you now, motherfucker. I just gave you $1,500 for 12 weeks. You know, you do all the work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So I grew up. No, I didn't treat Sam like that. But that's how I treated the experience. That's how I treated the situation, was like that, okay, I've paid the guy. Now he has to get my results. That's not a fact at all. I came back with a good mindset and wanted to learn, because you don't progress that way. You go and see a PT, you don't get the results because you haven't taken the time to learn, and you stop. Like, this isn't worth it. PT is a sham. You know what I mean? So I've gone back, I've asked him 20 billion questions and learn. And now, you know, on and off, he'll check in on me and stuff like that. But I've gotten myself to a point now where I can easily know what I'm doing with a cut, a maintenance, a bulk, because I just hammer him with questions in the sessions, out of the sessions. And if you've got a good coach, he'll answer you at 9 p.m. You know what I mean? With 2 kids. So that's my personal experience. You know, I've given Sam a good amount of money for his training, and I'd do it again. He asked me once if I'd pay more. And I was like, yeah.
It's easier being on the other side, being out of the experience and going through it, to be like, yeah, I would pay double that or insert arbitrary amount.
It is easy, yeah.
But when you're going in the front end and you go like, well, yeah, it's a lot of money, you know, I could spend that on, you know, car or a nice watch or something like that, but is that going to positively impact my health? No. You know, this is something that it's not a physical thing that you can hold and touch, but it's education that you can take away with you forever.
Absolutely.
And it will help you live a longer life, and a healthier life, more fulfilling. You can do more things.
Yeah.
Play with your kids, be that healthy dad or mum, be a great role model for your family.
Yeah, and you pass that that education on to other people. This particular client's wife jumped on, you know, the same sort of meal plan and workout plan, and they were ripped.
Yeah.
Their wedding, they were ripped.
So good.
It was so cool. And they wrote everyone notes for their wedding. Like, every guest had a note. And it was just about, you know, they don't know where they would have been without their guidance. And, you know, that's fulfilling. That's great. I didn't care about their money to me, and they didn't care about their money to me either. So it was, fantastic.
Great, mate. Well, thanks for tuning in for what was episode 19, guys. Don't forget to rate the show on Spotify and subscribe on YouTube. And we hope to see you on the next episode.
Yo.
Peace.
Peace.